If you could avoid the hottest part of the day, that would be great.
Yeah, really good luck trying to beat the heat today because it is going to be a hot one. Temperatures around the Portland area expected to hit 100 degrees. Sunrise reporter Thomas Schultz is going to join us live here in just a moment with details on where and how you can cool off. Plus, of course, Rod Hill with the latest on today's forecast. It is a KGW Weather Impact Alert Day.
Plus, a welfare check turns into a 2-hour standoff after a man barricaded himself inside a home.
And thousands of Oregonians about to lose access to behavioral health treatment as providers are dropped by Care Oregon. Why the nonprofit says it was forced to make the change. Sunrise, streaming live at 7 o'clock, starts right now.
Good morning and thank you for joining us live at 7 o'clock. I'm China Green.
And I'm Drew Carney. As we just mentioned, it is a KGW Weather Impact Alert Day. So Chris McGinnis will get to the traffic in just a moment. But Rod, you are the man right now talking about that hot Monday forecast.
Yeah, and really I think the main thing you need to know is if you were here at home yesterday, today's going to be within a degree or so exactly what you had yesterday. We have the extreme heat warning up from the Weather Service extended today and tomorrow. It's Wednesday that we break the heat and we have a big drop in temperature. Right now, 68 degrees. At least we did cool off into the 60s overnight. The extreme heat warning, the pinkish tone, these are all areas that have the potential to get up to 100 degrees, including Portland, from south of Eugene up into Clark County, through the gorge, and over into Central Oregon. Temperature range here in the valley, I mean, if you live in a cool spot, there were some spots only in the mid-90s yesterday, but as hot as 102, and I mentioned that Wednesday cool down. So here's your day planner. Sunshine all day, 68 degrees, mid-80s at noon. We could be approaching 90 as soon as 1 or 1:30. And then the hottest hours, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Temperatures 99, maybe hitting 100 degrees. Here's Chris.
Rod, thanks for that. Let's get you out the door. The drive definitely heating up here out of Clark County. I-5 is now stop and go at the Interstate Bridge. And of course, that lineup starts back around SR 500, and that's normal for this hour of a Monday morning drive. We'll switch gears real quick. Door number 2 takes us to the Sylvan Hill. Again, the sun right in the driver's eye there. So we've got the sunshine slowdowns going on that side of town. That said, it's not bad. 15 minutes gets you in from Hillsborough to downtown. The drive out of Clark County, 13 minutes now on I-5 southbound from Main Street to the Fremont Bridge. I've got a number of traffic alerts to pass along. We'll talk about those in a few minutes. Southwest Vista Avenue Bridge closure today throughout the week. Highway 219 in Hillsborough and the Northeast 42nd Avenue Bridge. That 2-year closure starts today. Shine, I've got more on these coming up in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Chris. Some metro area counties open cooling shelters and centers and extended library hours to help people beat the heat.
Sunrise reporter Thomas Schultz is live for us this morning downtown along the waterfront. So Thomas, trying to beat the heat today without AC would be mission impossible. You do have some ways, though, that people can try to stay cool.
Yeah, Drew, without AC, it's going to be tough, but there are some cooling centers open in some counties. It really depends where you're located, though, as you try to make preparations to beat this heat. Over in Clackamas County, that is the metro area county where cooling centers are open, and it's really county-wide, all over in places like Happy Valley, West Linn, Oregon City, Milwaukee, and more. County officials say it's really, of course, important to drink a lot of water today, stay hydrated, close any curtains or blinds that you have in your home. That helps keep at least some of that sunlight and some of that heat out of your home. And if you can, of course, spend time in air-conditioned areas. If that's not a possibility for you, you can also go to Clackamas County cooling centers to try to beat that heat.
Come inside, take a break, cool off, hydrate, relax, get your sorts in order, and then go about your day.
So that's Clackamas, but what about Washington and Multnomah? Well, Washington County has libraries and splash pads open. In Multnomah County, cooling centers were not open yesterday, although library hours at 3 libraries were extended. Of course, those are areas with air conditioning. County officials here in Multnomah County also have other tips to help people stay safe.
If you could avoid the hottest part of the day, that would be great. Also, you definitely want to find shade where you can. Think of like loose fit clothing as well, and stay really hydrated, and I think that'll help people.
And yeah, avoiding the hottest part of the day is going to be tough, right, Drew? Like you said at the beginning of the show here. One of the things that you can do if you do have to get out, try to do it early in the day, in the morning. Right now is a great time to do it before it heats up to 99 degrees a little bit earlier today as expected. Another important thing to do today is check on vulnerable populations, check on family and friends, people who may be elderly or they might have health conditions. Those can be exacerbated when the heat is going to be as high as it will be today going into tomorrow. Drew, China.
Thomas, that spot where you're standing looks pretty good here at 7:05 in the morning, but I would not want to be standing in that same spot come noontime. So we do appreciate that reporting this morning. All right, meanwhile, police say they arrested a man last night after a 2-hour standoff at a home in southeast Portland where a woman was found dead inside. This happened near southeast 170th and Harrison. Police say around 6:30, a man called 911 to report that a woman was dead in the home. When they got there, they say the man was armed and he wouldn't come out. The crisis negotiation team was called in, and around 9 o'clock, the man did come out on his own. Police arrested him and took him to the hospital for medical care.
We were just at her grandpa's house, minding our business. We heard a boom, a loud crash. We seen the police sirens. We were like, "What's going on?" Because we've been around here and we never known it to be this active.
We want to thank people living and working in this area. We understand that when we come in to operations like this, when we're bringing a lot of vehicles, we shut down streets. That's an inconvenience to people in this area, and we really appreciate everyone's patience.
Portland police confirmed they did find a woman dead inside that home and said they also found a gun inside.
In McMinnville, police ended up finding drugs, cash, and guns while responding to a car crash over the weekend. Just before 9 p.m. Saturday, police responded to a crash after a woman said that her car was rear-ended while waiting at a traffic light. Officers determined that the at-fault driver, 30-year-old Jose Andalon, was intoxicated. When looking inside his car, they found cocaine, Xanax, $2,900 in cash, and 2 guns. Andalon was arrested on charges including DUI, possession of a controlled substance, among other charges. Your time now is 7:06. A policy change to Care Oregon means that thousands of people in the state could lose access to behavioral health treatment and their therapists. Care Oregon is changing its rule for non-contracted providers because of what the organization calls, quote, sweeping the federal Medicaid cuts from the President Trump's Big Beautiful Bill. Now, the move could impact up to 15,000 people and is set to take effect in October. Some providers say that they'll be forced to close their businesses, while some patients are dealing with the possibility of finding a new therapist.
So much of what we talk about in Oregon about our future as a state is increasing behavioral health access. And this is in direct contradiction to what that mission is.
I feel that it will be on the fault of politicians, and it will be felt in our community.
Care Oregon says that they'll reach out to impacted members to help them transition to a new provider.
Stuffy's 2 in Longview is closed until further notice because of a fire that caused extensive damage to the restaurant. They shared these pictures on Facebook. Fortunately, no one was hurt. The owners now say that they're going to take the opportunity to remodel Stuffy's 2, perhaps renaming it Stuffy's 3. We will see. It is a KGW weather impact alert, but before we get to that, take a look at this.
Oh, it's fantastic. You got hot sauce and beer, and then food trucks.
I mean, what more do you really need, right? The Portland Hot Sauce Expo returned for its 8th year over the weekend. On top of hot sauce, food, and drinks, there was also a spicy eating challenge. I don't know how people did this. My husband and I had pizza yesterday, and I begged him to sit outside because I get to sit outside 3 months out of the year. And he was like, there's no way I'm eating hot pizza outside. But it wasn't even spicy, so I can't even imagine these people just like downing all this hot sauce and it's 100 degrees outside.
I mean, the worst case scenario is having to turn your oven on, right? That's like, people will avoid that at all costs on a hot day, because that's what really makes your house cook, is when you've got that oven turned up, doing some kind of cooking at home.
We actually, my wife picked up pizza yesterday for that reason, right. Mr. Carney.
Yeah, the pizza's hot, but at least your house isn't.
Yes, exactly right. All right, let's take a look at the temperatures. On these hot days with sunny skies, the only thing to really be aware of is what the temperature's doing, right? We have the extreme heat warning up today and tomorrow. So this does look to be a 3-day event. Yesterday, the airport here in Portland hit 99 degrees, but Salem was 101. And we're going to be within a degree or two, we think, the exact same temperature in most locations today. From what you had yesterday. So this shows 90 up in Longview, 97 Portland, 100 in Salem, still 81 in Astoria, what was 82 yesterday, 100 out in Hood River, the Dalles in the hundreds, Arlington, Pendleton, Bend at 96 degrees. The extreme heat warning does include the Gorge, does include Central Oregon for potential 100-degree highs. And tomorrow, not a lot of change. It shows the Dow's at 102, Portland again 97. Salem, though, it does cool out of the hundreds tomorrow and holds in the 90s. Speaking of our capital city this morning, we had a decent cool off overnight. We're down to 64 degrees in Salem. I believe that is your low so far. Downtown Portland holding at 68 degrees. Actually, the number is out along the Columbia River at PDX. And here are the other temperatures. This is obviously the most comfortable part of our day is this morning. 63 in Sherwood, 66 in Happy Valley. We're blessed that we don't have real humidity factors, so it does give us at least some early morning pleasantries, if you will. 62 is the number in Kaiser. This shows us 85 at noon, 90 by 1 o'clock, 93 at 2, and then we could be up into the mid to upper 90s as soon as 3 o'clock this afternoon. Forecast numbers later today shows 98 in Portland, 101 in Salem, 100 in Albany, Madras hitting 100 plus, the Dow's hitting 100 plus, and our 7-day forecast. So 2 more days of hot weather, today 99, tomorrow 96, and then Wednesday a big plunge, which should feel terrific, 82. In fact, we have morning clouds expected on Thursday, and right now, looking forward, Saturday could just be a rainy day. And that's your update. Here's Chris.
Something for August. All right, pick it up with a traffic alert. Actually, 3 of them. We'll start off in Hillsborough. Photojournalist Eric Patterson's on the scene here. You're looking at First Avenue, also known as Oregon Highway 219. And any minute, we're expecting that road to close near the railroad crossing. Portland Western and Railroad Company doing some fixes to the railroad crossing right on First Avenue. So this is going to be a lengthy and round-the-clock closure here all week. For Highway 219. Your detour, by the way, is several miles, so be prepared for this. TV Highway out to Minter Bridge Road and Grable Road. Again, that kicks in, should be any minute now, and it's a round-the-clock closure through the end of the week. Another closure in Southwest Portland. Southwest Vista Avenue Bridge closed Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. PBOT doing some bridge maintenance on that. The average daily traffic there, by the way, 11,000 cars and trucks a day. So that's an impactful detour for folks in Southwest Portland. And last but not least, over in Northeast Portland, we've been talking about this bridge closure for a while now. The Northeast 42nd Avenue Bridge closes for 2 years, starting today. The detour takes you out Killingsworth to either Colley or 82nd Avenue. Guys, that's about a 3.5 mile detour, so that will add some time to folks' morning commute. Actually, the total commute, morning or afternoon in the Colley neighborhood. Drew, back to you.
All right, thank you, Chris. Coming up next here in the Sunrise Show, we're going to take you out to Providence Park, where the Thorns paid tribute over the weekend to one of the team's biggest fans, a fan who tragically lost her life last year while traveling abroad. We're going to have more on this tribute coming up on Sunrise, streaming live at 7 o'clock after this.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news, live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news, live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
It was a touching tribute during yesterday's Thorns game. The team honored a nurse practitioner from Providence St. Vincent who was killed while traveling in Europe last year.
Yeah, she was a huge soccer fan, a huge Thorns fan. KGW's Jake Holter has more on the efforts by her family, friends, and the team to remember her.
She absolutely loved Portland, and more than anything, she loved Portland soccer.
Kenzie Michalski's parents, Bill and Jill, waving a Thorns jersey with their daughter's name on it to cheering fans as she is honored at Sunday's game.
We were just completely blown away. It took a little bit of time to process an honor so great.
Kenzie was killed while traveling abroad in Hungary last year. The man police say is responsible, confessed, and is awaiting trial. Kenzie was a neurosurgery nurse practitioner at Providence St. Vincent Medical Center, where her mom Jill says she touched many lives.
She really could connect with people on so many different levels and make them feel comfortable at a time when you're in the hospital and it's a very scary time. So that was a huge gift that she had.
Her dad Bill tells us that the idea to honor her at a Thorns game came about from friends and coworkers of hers who felt she needed to be properly honored. And what better way than at a Portland Thorns game?
She would snap snippets when they'd score the goals and the smoke would go off. And for a tiny little girl, you could really hear her cheering that team on.
They say it was such a wonderful tribute to their daughter's life.
Kenzie would be so honored to be remembered this way, and to have the Thorns do this for her. It's just very moving, and we're just so happy and thankful and grateful to the people of Portland for that. Portland was her happy place. So,
Jake Holter, KGW News.
All right, back to our top headline this morning, a KGW weather impact alert day. We're coming off what was the hottest day of the year so far in Portland, and we're going to have another one today just like it.
Yeah, so far not 100 at PDX. 99 is where we stopped yesterday. We'll be back up there again today. So basically I'm saying if you got through yesterday, you should be able to get through today because temperatures will be very similar. Here's what we did yesterday. Salem hit 101. First time this summer we've had triple-digit heat in the valley. McMinnville matched the Hillsborough hit 100. PDX stopped at 99, but near by Troutdale, the airport there, hit 100. Vancouver 99. Astoria made it to 82. And so yesterday the hot spot in the valley was 101. You can make the argument we could have some areas get up to 102 today. Not looking at records so far. It just happens to be a stretch of time where the daily records are actually quite high. But today's record is in play. I've got Portland again, expected to hit 99, maybe 100. Maybe we go crazy, we hit 102. That's the record back in the summer of 1977. And then tomorrow I've got us at 96. Record's 104 does not seem to be in play. But we are under the extreme heat warning from the Weather Service for potential 100-degree weather both today and tomorrow, and the warning goes through the gorge and also includes you folks over in Central Oregon. Big high pressure ridge, which is a strong one, sitting offshore, producing the compressive heating on top of just the sunshine itself. We are basically clear. Here's the Salem tasting room camera out in Sherwood, 63. So we did cool down pretty nicely, if you will, overnight. One more wine country camera. This one is perfectly clear, looking at the Dundee Hills, in the contrast to the brown grass in the fields and the green vineyard. That's Domaine Serene Winery out there in the Dundee Hills, and there's downtown Portland. We're sitting at 68 degrees currently. We'll be in the 80s by noon, so you've got a few hours of comfortable weather before temperatures really start to get up there. It's 71 up in Seattle, much warmer than the Willamette Valley for the most part this morning. 66 over in Bend, where 100-degree temperatures are expected in the area. 53 out in Baker City. Here are today's numbers, and again, for the most part, within a degree or two of yesterday. This shows all 100-degree heat, McMinnville, Salem, and Corvallis. Like yesterday, winds will be north 5 to 15 miles per hour. Southwest Washington held in the 90s yesterday. Could be some 100s today. Battleground and Vancouver each right there at 99. And I've got Portland at 99. Again, we could hit 100. 96 tomorrow. Wednesday's a cool down day, 82. Thursday morning clouds and then sun, 75. Rain chances open up Friday. Saturday is the likely wet day right now, 73. And then Sunday, 77. If you're wondering, humidity factors during the heat of the day yesterday in Portland, we're running the relative humidity at about 25%. That's low enough that the heat index was actually 1 to 2 degrees cooler than the actual temperature. So there is that. Here's Chris.
That means your sweat is actually effective at cooling you, which is good, right? Okay, let's get you out the door of the drive. Heating up out of Clark County, I-5 southbound now 13 minutes, excuse me. The drive to get you in from Main Street to the Fremont Bridge. We'll give you the live look right now at SR 14. We're starting to putter along a little bit there. Not that that's unusual for this hour of a Monday morning drive. Meanwhile, door number 2 takes us over to the west side. The Sunset, busy but moving along. And door number 3 shows us the Banfield. We'll take you out to 82nd Avenue. Once again, busy but moving okay for now. Your westbound trip from Troutdale is about 21 minutes from the Sandy River Bridge to the I-5 split. True?
Thank you, Chris. And this is another angle from a shot we saw earlier this morning on the Sunrise Show. Royal Caribbean cruise passengers screaming there, trying to get a worker's attention. A glass water slide breaks. Someone was inside at the time. We're going to have more in this story and other national headlines when the Sunrise Show continues.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
Later this week, President Trump and President Vladimir Putin are set to meet to discuss a possible end to Russia's war in Ukraine. Now, President Trump has suggested swapping territories, but Ukraine says it's not giving up any land. NBC's Alice Barr brings us the latest from Washington, D.C.
Preparations are underway for high-stakes talks at the end of the week aimed at ending Russia's war on Ukraine. President Trump set to meet Friday with Russian President Vladimir Putin in Alaska, with the potential for Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky to join.
The only way to make peace is to sit down and talk.
Vice President J.D. Vance met in England over the weekend with top Ukrainian officials and European allies, talking through Ukraine's peace proposals. As Russia keeps up its punishing attacks, President Zelensky has said Ukraine will not give up its land to occupiers, something President Trump said may be necessary.
There'll be some swapping of territories to the betterment of both.
White House Special Envoy Keith Kellogg heads to Ukraine today to continue talks. As a senior U.S. official tells NBC News, the White House is considering inviting President Zelensky to the Alaska meeting, though Russia's leader has said Ukraine was far from meeting its conditions for face-to-face talks. Democrats pressing for a Ukrainian presence and criticizing the location.
Putin is a war criminal. This is not a show of strength to allow him to fly into the United States.
Republicans pushing back, while some are calling for more protections for Ukraine.
Security guarantees to Ukraine to prevent Russia from doing this again.
President Trump heads into the meeting having sharply shifted his tone toward more vocal criticism of President Putin and threats of added sanctions, increasingly frustrated as the Russian assault drags on. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Here's a look at some other national headlines with your Morning Rush. Officials say the man who opened fire near the CDC's headquarters and Emory University in Atlanta last week blamed the COVID vaccine for making him depressed and suicidal. After guards stopped him from entering the CDC headquarters on Friday, he drove across the street and opened fire inside a pharmacy. One police officer died. The man was later found dead with gunshot wounds, although it's still not clear if he was shot by police or if he shot himself. We want to remind you this morning that if you or someone you know is struggling, you can always get help by calling that number on your screen, 988-24-7. That's the number to reach the suicide prevention hotline. President Trump is considering sending up to 1,000 National Guard troops to Washington, D.C. as part of his campaign against crime in the city. He's scheduled to hold a press conference this hour to address this. If deployed, the troops would support local law enforcement with administrative duties and also help protect federal personnel and property. Really frightening moment on board Royal Caribbean's Icon of the Seas. A glass water slide shatters, injuring a passenger. Video taken by other passengers shows water just gushing through what is now a large hole in that glass slide. The cruise line says one of the glass panels broke out as a guest was going through the slide, an adult guest. They were injured, but they are in stable condition. The cause is under investigation. And that's a look at your morning rush. Coming up in our next half hour of Sunrise, we're tracking high temperatures all across the area today. Rod Hill will be back with the latest on our Monday forecast on what could be one of the hottest days of the year here in Portland. Plus,
School is back. All right.
all right, somebody's excited about going back to school. We're going to get you ready for back to school season with a singing superintendent. The Sunrise Show, streaming live at 7 o'clock, continues after this.
KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yes.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW Plus.
We are coming up on 7:29 on your Monday morning drive. We pick it up with a traffic alert in Southwest Portland. PBOT doing some bridge maintenance on the Vista Avenue Bridge. 11,000 cars and trucks use this bridge every day, and PBOT's going to have that closed during the day, each day this week from 7 a.m. until as late as 5 o'clock through Friday. So again, be prepared for the detour there, which for many of you will include Southwest Montgomery. The drive right now out of Clark County, a little busy, but not bad. There's I-5 at the Interstate Bridge. So far, Rod, we've been relatively unscathed on the roads this morning.
Well, good news there. Thank you, Chris. We are still in the extreme heat warning timeline, which went up yesterday. It's up today. It's up tomorrow. Basically, it means temperatures could hit 100 degrees where you are here in the valley, out in the gorge, and also over in Central Oregon. Now, with all that said, we actually had a pretty good cool-off last night. Salem hit 101 yesterday, starting off 64. Portland hit 99 yesterday, starting off 68. And our planner today, it'll be 85 by noon, and then it could be 90 by 1 o'clock. Temperatures 99 to 100, still 96 tomorrow.
KGW Weather Impact Alert Day. Yep, the heat is our top story on this Monday morning as we start the 7:30 half hour of the Sunrise Show. A live look outside from our Wells Fargo Skycam. Big, fiery ball in the sky there, producing a lot of heat over the downtown Portland area. We didn't see 100 degrees Rod Hill in Portland yesterday, but darn, we got close with a 99.
Yeah, and a lot of people in the metro area did hit 100. Troutdale hit 100. Hillsborough did it. Salem was 101 yesterday. Here's a look at where it wasn't 100, but it was 80 degrees in parts of the coast yesterday. This will be a cool-off zone again for you today. Shallow fog already starting to clear out. You see that's a beautiful blue sky. Our Snoqualmie Casino Resort camera in Lincoln City, 52. So we do have the cool option if you can get yourself there, where temperatures at the beach today will be 70s and 80s. Portland, within a degree or so, will be right back up to where we were yesterday. Right now, 68 degrees. 85 at noon. I have today's high at 99. Obviously, we could hit 100 degrees. And as I mentioned, a whole fistful of areas did hit it yesterday. It's going to be Wednesday when we break the heat and we wake up to a much cooler, more pleasant weather pattern. For now, here's Chris.
Sure, most of us will look forward to that. All right, a couple of traffic alerts to pass along. Southwest Vista Avenue Bridge, that closes throughout the week, 7 to 5. Highway 219, First Avenue in Hillsborough, closed near the railroad crossing. This is a 24/7 closure starting this morning. And, of course, the Northeast 42nd Avenue Bridge in Northeast Portland. That 2-year closure starts today. That's over Lombard. All right, back to your freeway drive. I-5 from Clark County, slow and steady at the Interstate Bridge. The drive at the Sylvan Hills, slow and steady there as well. And over on the east side, Interstate 84 westbound, puttering along as well. At last check, 13 minutes, your I-5 South Drive. Guys, that's the commute in from Main Street to the Fremont Bridge. Back to you.
Thank you, Chris. Portland metro counties are making preparations to help people beat the heat over the next couple of days.
Here's KGW's John Adams with more.
With temperatures hovering around triple digits on Sunday, buildings around the area opened their doors to help people stay cool. One of those locations was the Ledding Library in Milwaukee.
We have hydration packs, we have some popsicles, water, just stuff to cool off with.
This was just one of several centers that opened in Clackamas County on Sunday. Centers in Happy Valley, Oregon City, West Lynn, and Wilsonville were also activated.
Come inside, take a break, cool off, hydrate, relax, get your sorts in order, and then go about your day.
Multnomah County did not open cooling centers on Sunday, but did extend hours at 3 local libraries.
Libraries were already open, but we extended hours in Central and Albina, as well as Midland.
Chris Voss, Director of Emergency Management with Multnomah County, gave these tips for people to stay safe when temperatures reach dangerous levels.
If you could avoid the hottest part of the day, that would be great. Also, you definitely want to find shade where you can. Think of like loose fit clothing as well, and stay really hydrated, and I think that'll help people.
Voss says these tips are especially important with conditions expected to stay dangerous through Tuesday evening.
So this is really the start of this event, so we want people to think about what they're doing really for the next 2 days as well.
That was John Adams reporting for us. Portland police are looking for the driver who hit a bicyclist on their way to Bridge Pedal on Sunday morning on the Morrison Bridge. The cyclist was seriously injured but is expected to survive. But police have released this image of the truck involved in the crash. Police say the driver left the scene and hasn't been found. So police say that the suspect's car is believed to be a white Toyota Tundra pickup 4-door crew cab with black wheels and no license plate. Police also say that there was possibly damage on the car's front grille. Anyone with information is asked to contact Portland Police.
There were 2 other crashes over the weekend that sent at least 2 people to the hospital, both involved impaired drivers. So police say the first crash happened just after midnight on Sunday. It involved 3 cars near Northeast MLK and Prescott Street and left 1 person hospitalized with serious injuries. One of the drivers involved in this was a 17-year-old boy who left the scene, but investigators say his dad actually brought him back and he was booked into juvenile detention. Then about 2 hours later, officers were called to Northeast Airport Way and Mason Street, where they found a truck that was wrapped around a tree. The driver, they say, was ejected and critically injured, but he is expected to survive.
Battleground police are asking people to keep an eye out for this silver minivan. They say earlier this month, two males between the ages of 16 and 20 drove up to two other juveniles and tried to lure them into the van. This was in a neighborhood off Northeast 142nd Avenue and 10th. The victim said that the two might have been armed, but police believe the vehicle is either a Toyota Sienna or a Honda Odyssey. If you have any information, call the number there on your screen. It's 360-342-5200.
The family of a man who fell unconscious in the back of a Coos Bay police car and later died is suing both the city and the officers involved.
They claim that an officer spent time texting and checking TikTok while the man was slumped over in his seat. Alma McCarty has more details.
I think it'll be a long time before there's healing there.
Healing for the family of Nathan Bradford Smith, a 33-year-old man who died a little more than a year ago.
It's galling, nonetheless. And so they're struggling.
According to a newly filed wrongful death lawsuit, this interaction, recorded by dash camera, wasn't the first time Coos Bay police had interacted with Smith that day. Here's Juan Chavez, the lead attorney on the case.
I believe at least one of these officers had encountered him earlier in the day and understood that he was using substances at that time, and that he was likely facing mental and physical health issues at that time.
This time, a 911 caller told dispatch they were concerned about Smith, lying partially in the roadway and flailing around.
He had the opportunity at that moment to be taken to a hospital that was a mile away, and instead he was put into the back of a police car.
Watch your elbow.
Smith can be heard in the video breathing quickly and heavily. In the lawsuit, attorneys point out the window didn't roll down. Smith was wearing a heavy coat and rain pants, and his temperature was 107.3. The officer transporting him drove not to the hospital, but to the police department, as Smith slumped further down in his seat. Once at the station, the officer left him there, and according to court documents, replied to texts and scrolled on TikTok upstairs.
That was crucial time for somebody to have come in and rescued him. Instead, he was left there to die. There was a 40-minute delay in getting him critical medical assistance. The EMTs did what they could to try to aggressively cool him, but it was too late.
The civil rights action against the city of Coos Bay and the officers involved calls the treatment of Smith unconstitutional, negligent, and abusive. Alma McCarty, KGW News.
Two local search and rescue volunteers who spent more than 2 weeks in Texas are back home. They're members of Columbia County's search and rescue program and were part of the search for victims of last month's deadly floods in central Texas.
It was devastating to see all the devastation with not only the buildings and against the people, but also just the landscape that was destroyed.
The Columbia County Search and Rescue Program is part of the Sheriff's Office in Columbia County, but it's volunteer-driven and donor-supported.
In honor of today, August 11th, also known as 811 Day, local utility providers are reminding folks to be safe when digging and doing yard work. So Northwest Natural says its crews responded to hundreds of damaged gas lines each year because people accidentally hit them while digging. So they're reminding you to call 811 at least 2 business days before you dig so someone can locate utility lines for free.
And we also have the Northwest Natural Safety app that you can get on the Google App Store or the Apple Store that people can download, and it has a whole bunch of information in there about 811, call before you dig, smell, go, let us know, and you can put a whole bunch of emergency numbers in there.
If you're using small hand tools or digging less than a foot deep, then you do not have to call.
All right, weather impact alert day, top headline on this Monday morning. Here comes Rod back into the mix to talk about just how hot today is going to be.
Well, if you go back to last week, we were back and forth as to whether we would have a third day of 90-degree heat or not. Now we know this is going to be a 3-day event. It was 99 in Portland yesterday. Will be similar to that today, maybe hitting 100 at the airport, and still well up into the 90s tomorrow, with Wednesday being our cool-off day. So as you look at the extreme heat warning map from the Weather Service, it extends from Cottage Grove up into Clark County, through the Gorge, into the Dalles, and down into Central Oregon. These are all the areas that at least have the potential to get up to 100 degrees. The orange areas on the map, which include Woodland, Kelso, Longview up in Calais County, and parts of the Coast Range. Heat advisory up, where temperatures will be in the 90s, but it doesn't look like any threat of reaching 100. And as I mentioned a moment ago, Wednesday is our cool-off day, and we actually have some rain looking to be a good possibility this upcoming Saturday. So the Gorge, you're in the extreme heat warning as we look for at the live camera from the Oregon Veterans Home camera out in the Dalles. You know, we're thankful that for the most part, everybody had a decent cool-off last night, despite the triple-digit heat we had in scattered locations yesterday. 67 out in the Dalles right now. Here's Hood River and Cathedral Ridge Winery, where temperatures in Hood River could get up to 100 degrees. Very, very similar to Portland. Portland right now is sitting at 68. Our temperature March is going to be a quick warm-up. I'll show you that in a second. Here we have 65 in Hillsboro, 72 though in Westland, and already up into the 70s out in Gresham. We have 64 in Salem, 67 degrees down in Albany. Here's that temperature hour by hour. Shows 85 degrees at noon. So we have 76 at 10, 82 at 11, 85 at noon, 90 by 1 o'clock. Clearly becoming uncomfortable at this point, if not before. And then I have us up into the mid to upper 90s as soon as 3 o'clock this afternoon. Hazel is our KGW dog of the day. Use that email address, dogoftheday@kgw.com. Send us your dog's photo and name, and your dog will be our dog of the day. Here's the heat map. Basically 90s to 100 degrees inland and 70s to, again, there could be some 80s along the coast this afternoon. Our 7-day, 99, 96, 82 with the Wednesday cool down, 75 Thursdays. We continue to drop off. There's that likely rain coming in as early as Friday afternoon, but likely, I think, Saturday. And that is your forecast. Here's Chris.
Rod, thanks for that. We pick it up with the traffic alert in Hillsboro. I'm going to step out of the way. Photojournalist Eric Patterson's been manning the scene here. And yes, road closed tells the story. That road is First Avenue, also known as Oregon Highway 219. Portland and Western Railroad doing some maintenance to the railroad crossing. And this will be a round-the-clock closure now that they've kicked that in through the day on Fridays. So a lot of folks, thousands of folks, actually will have to use a fairly lengthy detour to get around this, which is TV Highway out to Southwest Minter Bridge Road. Excuse me, I forgot the road there for a second, and Grable Road. This adds miles to your commute both directions, so just be prepared for that throughout the week. Another traffic alert on the west side, Southwest Vista. The Vista Avenue Bridge closed today from 7 to 5, actually all week long, as PBOT does some bridge maintenance. And last but not least, the 42nd Avenue Bridge in Northeast Portland. We've been talking about this a lot as PBOT does some upgrades to that. This is a 2-year closure of the 42nd Avenue Bridge. That starts today. The detour is out Killingsworth to Cully or 82nd Avenue, and Drew and China, as we mentioned last week, that will add about 3 miles to your commute through the Cully neighborhood.
Getting some of this work done, Chris, before those school buses hit the road again. Thank you for that.
I looked at the building, I was finally here to settle on in for another school year.
Speaking of school, still to come here on Sunrise, a very Fresh Prince of Bel-Air style back-to-school report. We're going to take a look at this school superintendent who creates viral pop music parody starring his students and his staff. The Sunrise Show continues after this.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yes.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW+.
KGW School Supply Drive well underway. It's happening all month long, and starting today, we have an easy way for you to give. You can donate at the register of any local Safeway or Albertsons stores. Keep in mind when you make donations at these local grocery stores, those donations stay in that neighborhood, supporting that neighborhood school district. Also this week, Rick's Custom Fencing stepping up for the school supply drive. They're going to match the first $5,000 donated to the drive this week. So a big thanks to Rick's and Safeway and On Point Community Credit Union for everything they're doing to make this year's school supply drive a success. As kids and teachers prepare to go back to school, we're talking this morning about a superintendent in southern Indiana who's going viral for his pop music parodies that star his students and his staff.
Jeremy Ross sits down with a parody principal for this special back to school report.
Everybody! It's back to school season, and for most administrators that means prep work, planning, and oversight. But for one super creative southern Indiana school superintendent, it also means turning school business into show business.
School is back, all right. I tell people all the time, that I can't believe that I get to do this as a part of my job as a superintendent. My name is Mike Allen, and I am the superintendent of Evansville Christian School, but I'm also known as the parody principal.
For more than a decade in educational administration, Allen has written and produced elaborate YouTube videos performing popular song parodies to keep his students, parents, and staff informed and entertained.
I try to choose ones that are fun, that are recognizable, and that work for telling the story I'm trying to tell. Snow days, 2-hour delays. Snow, the white stuff. Christmas breaks. Spring breaks. We could really use it.
Not to mention COVID closures.
Goodbye, COVID-19. I wish I never knew you at all.
Parent-teacher meetings.
Hello, parents, my old friend.
And even winter safety.
Slippery ice, slippery ice.
It seems no school issue, or musical genre for that matter, is safe from Allen's punchy parodies. And while his videos provide this natural showman a creative outlet, Allen says the biggest reward is the engagement with his students and staff.
It's not separate from my work, it's for my work. It's a part of what I believe is part of my role, which is to encourage and inspire and affirm.
So for now, it's back to school for Superintendent Allen and back to the old drawing board for the parody principal.
I looked at the building, I was finally here to settle on in for another school year.
I'm Jeremy Roth reporting.
Woo!
Yeah.
All right, hey, you got to do the trivia contest.
Let's
Let's
get
go.
into it. That music just takes you back. All right. Speaking back to school, doing trivia again.
Okay, here we go. Yeah.
If I remember correctly, winner loser last time.
Winner.
So
Yeah.
let's try this again.
It was a question that had to do with Rod's home state of Missouri. So yes, he got it right.
Okay. Well, this is another one that might be tough. What is the boiling point of water in degrees Celsius? Again, this feels kind of targeted towards
this is
Rod.
embarrassing that I don't have this memorized.
Wait a minute. Actually. The boiling point of water in degrees. Oh, I got this one. Actually.
I bet you Chris McGinnis has it memorized.
Are you smarter than a fifth grader?
I know it for sure. Fact.
You do it.
100 degrees Celsius. Fact.
Okay, you say your answer.
100 degrees Celsius is the boiling point of water.
You say yours.
That's not correct.
You say yours.
100 degrees Celsius.
You say 136.
136. Let's find out.
Chris has this memorized, I'm sure.
100. You were so confident that he was wrong.
Yeah, not only were you not right, you told me I was wrong when I was right.
So
What's
confident.
embarrassing is that, well, A, it's embarrassing I don't know that as a meteorologist, it's not memorized. But to your point, when you don't know something and you're confident that the other person's answer is wrong, it's doubly embarrassing.
Yeah, it's one thing to be wrong, but then to be a jerk about
Slap
it.
my hands, pretend you got the ruler out. Come on.
Can I tell you something?
Betty.
I don't know. The boiling point of water for Fahrenheit is something like some odd number.
212.
Yeah, it's like an oddball number. But I always remember in school, the Celsius was an easy one to remember. At least I thought it was easy to remember.
Ooh. Ooh.
Well, the difference between Philadelphia public schools and Missouri public schools, apparently. My state's embarrassed.
All right, so now we're tied.
Yeah. Can we do this again?
Do we have it again, Michaela, this week?
I'd like to do school
we need
trivia
to
again.
break the tie here.
Okay.
Yes, our producer says we'll have it again. It will be the tiebreaker.
I'd like to do it the entirety of the school year.
Fellers?
This is gorgeous right here. So
changing the subject.
Well, I want to speak about this before it goes away. So this is along the Pacific Crest Trail. This is up in the North Washington Cascades at about 6,400 feet in elevation. R.J. Lundenberg grabbed this shot while he was up there doing the Pacific Crest Trail, and just an absolutely gorgeous shot. Beautiful. All right, thank you, Jay. You can go up into the mountains and get somewhat cooler, but Timberline will be in the 80s today, and Government Camp could actually hit 90. So big time water, hydration, sunscreen still applying up in the high country today. Here's Salem at 101, McMinnville 101. These were yesterday's highs, Hillsboro 100. If this would have been Celsius, you could have boiled water, of course. 99 in Vancouver and 82 in Astoria. Again, these were yesterday's highs. Important to note because we think today is going to be within a degree or two of the exact same thing. So 99 is the temperature that we had yesterday at a PDX, not a record. The record's 107. We will be right back up 99 or maybe hitting 100 degrees today. Here's Timberline Lodge. Thought it might be a cooling influence to look at the snow. It's 65 degrees up there at 6,000 feet. Again, warming into the 80s today. Here's the Chehalem Tasting Room camera out in Sherwood. We at least did cool off into the 60s last night. So we had some pleasant time out the door, but we'll be up into the 80s by noon today. Here's the Pioneer Park building. And oh yeah, the bricks are going to be hot later today. 68 is the temperature. Right now, 61 in Kelso, 64 in Salem, 70 over in Bend, 53 in Baker City. So there are some comfortable spots to be had. At the coast, like yesterday, most areas will get up into the 70s. We've had some shallow fog this morning, but cameras are generally showing some sun at this point. Astoria hit 82 yesterday, back up to about 80 today. Valley forecast numbers for you. 102 in Salem, 101 in McMinnville, 101 in Corvallis. I think 102 probably is the peak of the heat today. Yesterday, the hottest valley temps of the main reporting sites, 101. So again, pretty similar. Battleground 99, Vancouver 99, obviously could hit 100 degrees. And from the Weather Service, the extreme heat warning is up today and tomorrow. So it's going to be a 3-day event, including yesterday. Our impact alert for the hot weather, 99, 96. And then a big drop quickly. Wednesday, only 82. Back to comfortable weather. 75 on Thursday, morning clouds. There's a rain chance developing Friday. To me, Saturday, absolutely, if nothing changes, will be a rainy day. We could have more than a quarter of an inch of rain on average fall across the region. Sunday right now I have is dry and 77 degrees. And here is Chris McGinnis.
Hey, Rod, thanks for that. A couple of traffic alerts to pass along. Of course, the Southwest Vista Bridge closes Monday through Friday, that's today, Monday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. each day. Highway 219 in Hillsboro near the railroad crossing, that is closed all week through Friday. And the Northeast 42nd Avenue Bridge, that too closing today for 2 years. That's over Lombard. Sorry, we lost the camera here. That was going to be I-5 near the Interstate Bridge, but I could probably, you probably have a good idea what that looks like. A lot like this, which is the sunset out near the Sylvan Hill. That too is puttering along. And one last check here of the drive into Wilsonville. I-5 northbound traffic coming right into your living room there. That is still in pretty good shape. Our drive times right now up a little bit. The sunset taking you about 24 minutes to get you in from Hillsboro to the Vista Ridge Tunnel. Guys?
All right, Chris, let's talk about what's coming up next here in the Sunrise Show. We're talking about the Hillsdale community coming together after the farmers market there in Hillsdale had their truck stolen. We'll explain all the details behind this community-backed effort when Sunrise continues.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
the local farmers market in Hillsdale is planning a thank you event after its truck was stolen and damaged beyond repair in March, which led to the community stepping up in a big way. So organizers say the community rallied to raise money to help the farmers market bounce back. Now equipped with a new truck, the market is set to host a community paint day as a thank you to those who helped make it possible. People of all ages are encouraged to participate in helping paint a mural on the new truck.
We just wanted to make it kind of give back in a little bit of way, and something that people can then say years from now, hey, I was a part of that. I helped create that. So that was really the thinking behind having a community paint day.
The exact date for the paint day will be posted to their social media pages soon. Art experience is needed to help, and paint and brushes will also be provided.
Hey, I'm Blair Best, and we hope you've been joining us for The Story each weeknight at 6:30. If you've got a story idea of your own, email us at thestory@kgw.com or call and leave us a voicemail, 503-226-5090. We'd love to hear from you. Have a great morning, and I'll see you tonight.
Coming up at 8, the latest on today's weather impact alert, as the metro area could face temperatures as high as 100 degrees.
Yeah, Rod Hill leads the coverage with a full Monday forecast. We also have Sunrise reporter Thomas Schultz joining us live from downtown Portland with ways to stay cool. The 8 o'clock hour of Sunrise is coming your way in 3 minutes. Before then, this quick live look outside. Not hot yet, but boy, is it going to be hot in just a few short hours. Again, all the details on today's extreme heat, our KGW weather impact alert at the top of the hour.
The